story. I was kind of leery about it at first. I was like, oh, hell no. I said, I'm not talking to you guys. But then after I knew who and what you guys were about, then I was like, yeah. So this happened May 4th at 4 o'clock. I'm still waiting for a court date, and I think it's too long. It's been a year, and I'm very persistent, and I didn't do nothing wrong. I haven't done anything wrong.
I think that, some rescues out there think they're above the law. Bill and I actually received a phone call from the sister of the owner wanting to know why we broke into her house and took her dogs, and we informed her that we had nothing to do with it, and she proceeded to tell us that they broke the door down and they made entry into the lady's house.
The issue is, did Detroit Dog Rescue have a right to go in her home and to help these dogs? No, they simply did not. If they thought there was a real problem, then the proper avenue was to go through the police department and then through a judge.
They broke my armored door, they broke the glass, they broke my side door, they broke the fence, they broke my screen door in my back, and they broke 3 windows over here at my house. And then they also broke 3 screen doors over here.
Indeed, it's a felony, several felonies. It's a home invasion. You go in somebody's house without permission to commit a crime, which is essentially what they did. They stole these animals from her. That's a larceny.
I mean, when you start doing that, you become a vigilante. And that's why we have laws and rights in place. And it's not up to me to decide whether it's right or wrong. It's up to me to investigate something, take the right action, and follow that legal course.
They don't have any right, nor does anybody have any right, to go around the constitutional prohibition of the Fourth Amendment. You simply cannot enter into somebody's home without permission for any purpose whatsoever.
Like I said, I had 24 dogs up in my house. Some of them were mine, but people were giving them to me because they knew I would take good care of them. So I was introduced to this lady. She asked me if I needed any dog food, and I said no, I do not. So she dropped off newspapers and dog treats every once in a while. Then she had asked me how many dogs I had in my house one time. I said, I don't think that's any of your business. Then she found out how many I had. Then she kept threatening me if I don't surrender some of the dogs that she was going to call the cops. I went down, tried to make a police report 3 times. The cops would not take none of my statements, kept telling me if anything ever happened, just to call them. And this lady kept calling me, kept calling me. And then she came over here and told me if I don't get help, that she was going to have all my dogs taken.
Whenever you're dealing with an individual who is collecting animals, a hoarder, if they're hoarders, or has more animals than they can reasonably care for, or more animals than they should by city ordinance, or whatever the reason is, when they have a large number of animals in their house, you automatically are dealing with a very complex situation. The recidivism rate for individuals that collect or hoard animals is always very, very high. So we realized right from the beginning, this isn't going to be a one-stop deal. You don't just go in, clean them out, and it never happens again. And I think you come to that conclusion over time. You have somebody here that you're probably going to work with, and the best way to do that, if the animals are not in immediate dire straits, is to develop a relationship with that individual and try to work to manage their numbers with them.
This happened May 4th at 4 o'clock. I had just came back from the doctor's, and me and my sister had went to go pick up some more dog food. My sister dropped me off. I went down to the K9, and I went to Church's Chicken to grab me a bite to eat. My phone's going off. It's that Jennifer lady, and it was these other rescue people. So I told them to go away. I answered the phone. He said that they were in front of my house.
We are pulling many dogs from an abandoned house. That word right there, abandoned, is key to them, in their mind, getting into this house. Obviously, it's not an abandoned house. That is what makes sense here, because here on May 4th, we have Wags and Wishes posting, urgent, fosters needed now. And look, it was exactly at the time when it was going on. It's 8:06 p.m. She probably Facebooked it right from her smartphone on the street.
You have people that all they want is results, I mean, you see people walk around all day long with their phones, updating their status on where they're at. And it affects the way that we do business, because now people are looking at us that, hey, why can't you do this? XYZ group goes out and they just snatch dogs and they get them out of that way. But in essence, what they're doing is stealing. And as an organization, we kind of hold ourselves to a higher standard.
I called the cops 3 times before they showed up. Then I was coming over this way, and there was a whole bunch of people over here. My dogs were out in the cages. They were walking my dogs. They were smoking a cigarette, laughing, carrying on, thinking it was funny. And I said, what's going on? They said, I'm taking your dogs. I said, you can't do that. The cops finally came. I told them I lived here for 6 years. They said, you do not live here. You're a squatter. They wouldn't even look at my ID. And they said, if you don't shut up, I'm going to arrest you. They kept saying that. And then I went into an asthma attack. I almost passed out right over here by this tree. And the cops said, do you want me to call the ambulance? I said, no. I said, I'll die right here on the cement concrete with my dogs.
But if you want to put an X by anyone that are your animals, and these are the main people who are part of these organizations.
Yeah.
I don't know if all of them were or not at the place.
Are you telling me this is how many people were
There
here?
was a lot
8,
more
9,
people.
10,
There was a lot
14,
more people.
15, 16, 17.
There was more.
Hi, I'm Tom McPhee with the World Animal Awareness Society. I'm currently on the city streets of Detroit counting stray dogs. We want to solve the mystery of how many. Let's take a look at some of the stories that we've been discovering.
The serpent's bite.